Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Matter of the Heart, where we give to you interesting, heartfelt, and educational stories, all to elevate your spirit. The topic for today is 2023 predictions or an insight, and the guest is Antot Masuka. He is from celestialaffairs.com. He's a professional astrologer for over 20 years. He's been a member of the International Society for Astrological Research, and he's been a member, and is a member of the Council for Geocosmic Research. So we welcome you, Antot. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carol. It's absolutely great. I thank you for the pleasure of being able to speak to your audience about matters of the sky and how they affect human life on the earth plane.
Yeah, because sometimes we take the universe or the patterns of the divine timing, like of the planets, for granted. We don't realize the effect on them, So getting back to 2023, and you just give us some insights on 2023 and basically what we could become aware of, some type of an insight or PowerPoints or however you'd like to proceed.
Certainly. Well, I didn't prepare a presentation which could have been done for this presentation that we could have incorporated. So we'll just discuss it. I'd like to build on the show we did, the podcast we did last year, where we talked about 2022. Now, in that presentation, we really got into the nitty-gritties of the astrology behind it. We really beat it to death, and it was highly, highly technical. I would like to take a different approach this time and ask people to listen to that presentation, because much of what we say in this presentation is based on what was discussed last year in 2022 forecasts and predictions podcasts. That having been said, we will keep the astrological lingo to a minimum because it's already covered in the podcast for 2022, and we'll just go straight into the man in the street presentation of what 2023 represents and is all about. I would like to start with the caveat or the explanation that no one year stands on its own. Every single year is a rolling average or a rolling movement of the years that came before and the astrological alignments that occurred before. So if I go back to something that occurred 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, like the eclipse in 2017, which is very critical for what's happening today, it is to show how those energies are setting up or influencing what's happening in 2023. So just as we don't see 2023 in a vacuum, we don't see 2024 in a vacuum either, because it's a continuation. We are on a continuum. And this allows us to predict not only for 2023, but 2024, 2025, all the way up to 2030 and beyond. So I just wanted to say that, because sometimes people think that, oh, what are the predictions for 2023? As if you could just pull them out of a hat like that. No, they're built on the energies that came before, and they will be highlighted or triggered by the energies that will express themselves in 2023 particularly.
So what I got from that, Antot, is that everything is a cycle. And I look at nature and the cycles of the moon, and the cycles of the planets. So everything connects. I always like to go back to nature because I think that's the law, the divine law of life. So everything connects. I think this is what you're saying, that it's not
Correct.
a vacuum, but it's a connection.
Yes, that is correct. So having said that, then let's look at what we see as likely to come out of 2023. 2023 is the summation, the finality. It's the year of decision. You know, as you know very well, Carol, a square represents where you have, you know, the two balls and you can only hold one, right? It's a challenge where there will be a winner and a loser. And somebody will be on the winning side, this is the year for decision making. This is the year for bringing things to closure. But it's going to flow into 2024 and 2025 as well. But the critical changes are going to occur this year. They're going to occur this year. And they're going to occur across all spectrum: political, economic, social, medical, and in our personal lives as well. This is the year where we have to make firm decision as to where we're going in the future and how we're going to do it.
That makes sense.
So I wanted to share that. Yeah.
Yeah. So major,
that
are these major decisions on a personal level or on a universal level, or both?
They're pretty much both. You know, they're worldwide, they're global, and they're personal. And what's driving that personal decision is that eclipse that is going to be occurring on April 20th, 29 degrees of Aries. So, you know, Aries is powerful and it's strong energy. And at 29 degrees, it takes it to another level of extremism. So we know now that we're in that, and when we approach March and April, up to April 20th, you know, up to 6 weeks out, it's going to be a time of decision. It's going to be a time of action. It's going to be a time of final push, getting it done, you know, resolving this issue once and for all. It's been dragging out since 2020. When Saturn conjunct Pluto on January 12th, 2020, when the first person died of the virus in Wuhan, China, on that date. You know, it can't be that precise. We discussed it in the last podcast, so we won't go into it in detail here in terms of the astrology. But all that energy that built up in 2020, 2021, 2022, well, if you think 2020 was bad, you think 2021 and 22 were bad in some respect. Nah. This year is going to be the real deal. It's going to be the real challenge, the real turnover on all spheres.
If it's a real turnover, then the word that came to me is transformation, which could be very positive.
Yes, for some it will be extremely positive. It will be freedom. It will be, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, reaching that point. For some it will be devastating because they basically had a plan, they had a hope, they had a dream, and it's shattered. This is the year for the collapse of empires. It's a year where great social systems and economic systems fall. And it happens suddenly and unexpectedly and from out of nowhere. Why? Because Uranus is in Taurus. So we talked about that in the last podcast. And that energy is electric. It's electric. And we are going to be feeling that energy expressing itself very strongly this year as well. There's also a call for justice that's coming from out of the eclipse in Libra that will be occurring this year in October, I think October 14th. And so the eclipses are very much at work. You know, the eclipses is the cosmic energy that put things into action. You know, we dance more to the eclipses than anything else in the solar system, because eclipses cuts off. It cuts off the energy of one planet, you know, and it allows the cosmic energies from behind the sun to come in, only for a short period of time, but we can't handle anymore. We can only handle it for like a few minutes or 30 minutes. Such is the human constitution and the fragility of life on Earth.
So is there any way that we can prepare for this?
Yeah, the best way to prepare for it is mental, because this is going to be more of a mental stress. It will be physical as well. Yeah, it will be physical as well, not just mental, because people are hurting, people are dying on battlefields, and people are dying from causes that never existed in human civilization before or in recorded history, that is just beginning to manifest themselves within the past 3 months or 4 months, just coming into public awareness. Not that it wasn't there, it was there for a couple of years before, but now minds are being changed, and emotions are rising. So there's a political discomfort, a political anger, a political anguish that is on the rise, that's building slowly. And the powers that be have no sense of this, because they're busy beating the drum, of their own agenda and of their own goals and objectives, because they feel that's the only way to win, that's the only way to survive. But they see the undercurrent. The undercurrent is coming, and it is strong, it's powerful, and it's equal. As Albert Einstein said, and as Sir Isaac Newton says, every force is meet with an equal and opposite reaction. That law of the universe has not changed. So for those who put in out big programs, know that the response will be equally big.
Oh, that's interesting. So know that the response will be equally as big as the energy that's being put out. So what I'm picking up is that what you're saying is powerful. In other words, powerful moments that in one way we need, I would say, to prepare for that. To me, it's mental, but it's also emotional. And to accept, the powerful moments with a thread of faith that it's leading to eventual goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yes, goodness is at the end of the road, no question about that, but not necessarily how the planners and designers expect it. It's coming from another dimension that they can't even see right now. In preparing for this, preparing for the drastic emotional, psychological, physical changes, people dropping dead in front of you, who were 5 minutes before perfectly fine, which we have seen now expressing itself in the public arena, in media. We have to apply a therapeutic approach. We have to do things that will alleviate mental stress, that will create a sense of calm within us. And we have to watch our diet as well, including the sugars, anything that could cause anxiety, including alcohol, any kind of stimulant or relaxant, super relaxant, because they take us out of reality. We have to watch it, because it's very important that we dedicate at least 2 hours or an hour per day to create some kind of mental stability or peace within ourselves on a daily basis, because the news that we're coming into is going to be shocking, Mm-hmm. So we need something to balance that out, mm-hmm. so we can absorb it and integrate it into our psyche and collective unconscious as a people and as a globe and as individuals.
Well, maybe more alkaline foods.
100% alkaline food, and that can be achieved so many ways, with citrus, with lemon. Lemon provides alkalinity. Right. And with sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, a half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon. Yeah, this will increase alkalinity, and it is good for the blood, and it's good for the body and the mind.
And probably also lots of water.
A tremendous amount of water. As you know, I'm a big advocate of water. I own the website watermagi.com.
Right.
watermagi.com, where you'll find tons of videos, information, and product opportunities to purify your water, to make sure that you're not drinking contaminated water, because a lot of the poisoning that's going on in the populations right now is coming primarily through the water and also through the air. We are very much aware of it, chemtrails and stuff like that. So, and in fact, they test the sewage water and by testing the sewage water, they can tell what kind of an outbreak a town will experience, and maybe even prepare for it. So we have to keep our water clean.
Wow, that's interesting. I know there was a situation in Memphis, Tennessee, a couple of weeks ago, as far as their water piping go. So I'm picking up in a healthy way that it could also be purification. Maybe we never thought of drinking more water. Maybe we never thought of eating more foods or that are alkaline, and going with the purification. Maybe maybe Tai Chi, maybe Qigong, maybe meditate, anything that I guess that goes back to our Qi, to purify your whole body at the same time.
There's a lot of talk on mass media that disinformation and propaganda, and people are stupid, they're disinformed, they can't make a decision, they must listen to us, follow the science, when what's really going on is people is like going, what are you trying to tell us? We are that stupid, we can't tell for ourselves what's going on? We are not using our own intelligence and consciousness, and we are not all part of this game that's being played called life. Where do you get your superiority over us? Never. And so it's very important that people start taking the modalities that are necessary to protect themselves, to protect them, and follow their heart, follow their intuition, and really dig in with a lot of gusto in any statement that's made publicly that is not valid or doesn't carry weight behind it. And people who make statements that are deceptive in nature or create obfuscation in understanding by the masses should be held accountable for it in a criminal way and manner, especially if they have the training and background and information to know better.
Well, then what I'm picking up is, I don't know, but I think maybe, just maybe, what could be happening is that each generation, going back to cycles or upgrades, we'll call this, maybe the overall consciousness of people are increasing.
It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. The overall consciousness of people are increasing for those who are critically aware of the overall dumbing down and pushing down of consciousness that has been engineered. So as I said before, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So yes, that's happening as well. We're having people more dumber than they ever were on this planet, but at the same time, more enlightened as well in reaction to that.
Right. No, that's interesting. What would you like to say, Antot, for the closing of 2023 to the listeners and to the viewers?
There are going to be maybe an earthquake around the time of when Pluto enters into Aquarius around March 23rd to 23, which will be very telling because it carries symbolic significance, is what I want to say. I'd like to draw attention to one matter that we did not discuss, and that is the tremendous pressure that the United States is being put under from the celestial sphere. And to see that, I'm just going to outline a couple of items because we don't have much time. The Pluto return in the United States chart. When the country was formed, it's July 4th, 1776, Pluto was at 27 degrees of Capricorn, retrograde about 35 minutes. Well, it just passed that position about a couple of weeks ago, and we're in that degree right now. And Pluto is going to retrograde a couple more times, and it won't come close to exactly that, but it'll be in the 27-degree range between now and the end of the year going into next year. So that, plus if you look at the 3 eclipses that are coming up in April of this year, in October of this year, and in April again, 2024, they create an X across the United States, backed up and supported by the one that occurred on August 21st, 2017, that went from Oregon, I believe, all the way to Charlotte, Carolina. So what am I trying to say? Everything that America has been built on is coming under a lot of pressure cosmically. And no country, no human being, no entity can survive its Pluto return and be the same. It's impossible. You can't even survive a Pluto opposition, which is 120 years. Most people die at 120 years. Or a Pluto square, which would be about 60 years old. These things bring great pressure. So we're going to see, if I can make the statement, the complete collapse cosmically of the United States because of the celestial pressures. And it's going to happen on many, many different levels. And we may see, as coming out of that complete political collapse, a reorganization of the country along lines that are geared towards serving the people. In other words, a republic that stands for people and not for stakeholders in corporate interests in the entity.
No, thank you. How can people reach you, Antot? I know you do readings, you even do astrocartography. What's the best contact information for you?
It's always best to send me a text because I get so many calls from numbers that are strange and I don't answer them. So it'd be 646-960-6830. Send me a text. Say who you are. You heard me on the show. Rah rah rah. And also, you can write to me at celestialaffairs.com, ANTOT, Antot at celestialaffairs.com. And, those are the 2 best ways to reach me. And visit my website, celestialaffairs.com. Tons of information in there for you.
No, very, very highly informative, everybody. Highly informative. Check out his website, and nothing to lose by texting Antot. I also do intuitive psychic readings, and you're more than welcome to send me a message on my email, intuitivecarol@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to tell you what I do. I use so many different tools, astrology, intuitive, but Antot is the master with the Western. I do it intuitively. I use the tarot cards. I channel, which I love to do, automatic handwriting, and on and on and on. intuitivecarol@gmail.com. This has been so informative, Antot. We always appreciate your highly skilled information. We really do. We really do. You can see you've done a lot of research. We really thank you, Antot. Thank you. And thank you, listeners, for listening, and in this case, for viewing. We always appreciate you taking your time out to listen, and in this case, to see as well. That'll be up on Facebook. And we always wish you a beautiful, blessed, and joyful journey. Thank you.